In this video, we are going to take a look at the Marina Mabrey trade to the Connecticut Sun and the impact that it might have. Is James Wade finally off the hook? And is Chicago going full tank or half tank? So we are going to take a look at it all. Before we start, if you like the content, then please consider subscribing to the channel. All right, let's get into this trade talk in the WNBA. Mid-season does not usually happen. So first, the details of the trade. So Chicago traded Marina Mabrey and a 2025 second-round pick to the Connecticut Sun. In exchange, they got two players, Mariah Jefferson, who's actually out she underwent ankle surgery, and Rachel Banham. As well, they got two draft picks. They have the Suns' 2025 first-round pick. In addition, they have the swap rights to the Suns' 2026 pick. Now, it's a little bit strange on this one because the Lynx already own the swap rights to Chicago's 2026 first-round pick for the Angel Reese trade, but Chicago has the Phoenix Mercury #1 pick in 2026 due to the Kalia Copper trade, and that is a pick that they effectively put the swap rights on with the Connecticut Sun. So basically, Chicago gets whatever team has a better draft pick, the Connecticut Sun or the Phoenix Mercury. That is the pick that they'll have in 2026. Now, why was this trade made in season? Well, it appears that Marina Mabrey requested the trade. So Annie Constable of the Chicago Sun-Times has reported this, that she went to management requesting a trade. I watched the post-game press conference after the Sky beat the Aces, and Teresa Weatherspoon and Maria Mabrey's interaction, it seemed fine. I noted that Weatherspoon put her hand on Mabrey's shoulder. I don't know, that was a bit awkward. I'm just not very handsy that way. I don't know. It's like, get your hand off me. But no, and during the press conference, Mabrey alludes that something might be going down in a few days' time. And then Weatherspoon says, don't ask her anymore about that. I mean, it was all jovial. And during the...
I don't really know yet. You guys will see, actually, this weekend.
What? What is that?
Yeah. I mean, it didn't come out yet, so I can't say it.
Don't question her. Leave her alone.
Yeah.
Last one from Marina from Roberta on Zoom. Please unmute.
Press conference as well. Mabrey, reporter asked, what happens if there are changes to the team? And Mabrey's like, it's a business. You adjust to who's there and you do your job. So my take was, at the time of that press conference, it was already a done deal, or pretty much a foregone conclusion. Now, the reason the Connecticut Sun are making the deal is it's just their window and their time to make a move. They need more offense to compete with the upper echelon teams, and Mabrey will provide that. The pick that they're giving up in 2025 wouldn't be a big deal, as it'll be a late first-round pick if the Suns stay healthy. Now, the 2026 pick, now that one could be more interesting as they're free agents. They can only core one player. I think they can core Thomas potentially, but obviously Chicago Sky hopes is everybody moves on and they fall into the lottery, and there you go. We can swap this pick, and as well, it's double their luck, because they also, like I said earlier, they hold the Phoenix Mercury pick. So hopefully their hope is one of those two teams is really bad, and then we swap that pick, and we are well set up in 2026. So essentially, I think this was a good trade for both teams. I know you were supposed to crush one team, but if Marina Mabrey didn't want to be there, then Chicago has to move her on. You don't want a sulking player. Even if their season goes really, really well and they have Mabrey on the team, they're still going to finish 8th and get beat by the #1 seed in the playoffs. Now, I know that Chicago doesn't own their #1 pick in the 25 draft due to the initial Marina Mabrey trade made by James Wade, but that shouldn't be a massive issue for them, as Dallas will likely finish lower in the standings than Chicago. At least right now at the halfway point, they are 6-19 versus Chicago that is 10-14. If you're a Dallas fan, your hope is we'll get Satu Sabally back, and here we go. We're going to move up the standings. But to see who's in the lottery will be fascinating as well, as Atlanta is incentivized to move out of the lottery as Washington owns their pick. The whole draft pick thing is crazy in a lot of ways, because there are a lot of ties between Dallas, Chicago, and Phoenix, and it's just amazing when you look at it. As initially, after Chicago won the championship versus the Phoenix Mercury, then after that season, they traded Diamond DeShields to the Phoenix Mercury for a #1 draft pick. That was after the 2022 season. Then in 2023, Marina Mabrey had a breakout year. Like, she went on a real hot streak at the end of the season when Arike Ogumawale was out with a hernia injury. And then after the 23 season, Chicago got knocked out in the playoffs by the Connecticut Sun. And then Candace Parker left for the Aces. And then James Wade decided that he had to have Marina Mabrey as part of his rebuild. Now, the interesting thing was, it was clear Dallas did not want to re-sign Mabrey, but she was a restricted free agent, which just made it baffling that James Wade went ahead and traded for her, even though it was clear Dallas did not want her. But not only traded, he gave up a massive amount. So he gave up the 2023 Chicago #1 pick, which turned out to be the 5th pick. He gave up the 2024 #1 pick, and then as well the 2025 Chicago swap rights, or gave Dallas swap rights to Chicago's pick. And I crushed James Wade on this now, especially because he left midseason. I was like, man, you trade away all their draft capital and then you run off to take a job in Toronto. That was not cool in my opinion. But as well, I'm a fan of crushing Greg Bibb of the Dallas Wings. And I think in one of the videos I said, you can get all these picks, but can you use them effectively? And that will be the question for Greg Bibb. And right now, it's very questionable if he's going to do that. So in the 23 draft, he took Lou Lopez Seneschal, and she was injured her first year and not getting much playing time this year. In the 2024 draft with the #5 pick, he took J.C. Sheldon. I'm on the record saying they should have taken Aaliyah Edwards. I know others disagree with me on that. Sheldon played better in the game last night against Indiana, and she is getting more playing time, and it's hard to transition from college being a guard to the WNBA as a guard versus, I think, obviously the bigs have an easier transition. I still would have taken Edwards, though. Or Angel Reese, who's the steal of the draft, who, funny enough, was taken after Aaliyah Edwards and J.C. Sheldon at #7 because Chicago made that swap draft deal with the Minnesota Lynx, which I'm sure they are thrilled with. The other tentacle to the 4-team trade that involved Marina Mabrey going to the Chicago Sky was that the Phoenix Mercury wanted to offload Diamond DeShield's salary and contract so they could re-sign Sophie Cunningham. So that's why they were involved in that trade, and they gave swap rights to their 2025 pick to the New York Liberty. Currently not a big deal, as Phoenix is #6 in the standings at 13-12, but if that injury bug hits, they could fall like a rock. So I have to be honest, I'm more intrigued about who finishes, the bottom 4 in the WNBA versus the top 4 seeding going into the second half of the year. I find that more fascinating. Can Dallas get Satu back and start climbing out of the lottery? Atlanta's obviously incentivized to get the heck out of the lottery as well, as Washington owns their pick. But will Chicago just go full-on tank now and say, yeah, we'll just go in there and hope Dallas is bad as well, so we'll only lose like one or two spaces down. Either we'll pick 3rd or 4th in the lottery potentially. And I know I'll get some comments in this video saying the WNBA draft is overrated. And it is to a certain extent. A lot of the players picked don't make the squads and things like that. But if you get an Angel Reese or a franchise type player, it is massive, as it really helps your salary cap, as those contracts currently under the current collective bargaining agreement. It might be changed shortly if they opt out, but currently, as it's currently set up, the rookie contract is so bad. If you get 1 or 2 of those players, it can really set you up to get a few free agents in and fill out your roster. So overall, not exciting, but I think Chicago did well in this trade, and they've covered up James Wade's mess as best they can. So I think good job by them, their current GM, Jeff Pagliacca. And then I think it's a good trade for the Sun as well, as this is almost the last roll of the dice. Why not max out and see if you can get that championship? And though I crushed James Wade, he brought Chicago a championship, and that's one more championship than they had before he came. So it's probably not fair on me to crush Wade as well. So I guess in the end, I love everybody. Now it's over to you. Your thoughts. Do you like the trade for Chicago or the Sun? Do you think Chicago's done? Do you think Isabella Harrison will be on the block, or Evans as well? All comments and feedback is welcome. Thanks a lot for watching. Have a great night.